I'm a chronic perfectionist. I need help.
Oh, you stupid. I give up.
Adventurers and artists, welcome back. So when I first started making my videos and recording my piano tunes, I would spend hours out in the field just trying to find a scenic shot. And sometimes I would go home empty-handed because I was just really unsatisfied with some of the shots that I was finding. But sometimes I would find a good shot and I would set up my keyboard and I'd go to record the song, but it would take me a stupid amount of time just to record the song, and get a good take of the song that I was happy with. And my camera battery would sometimes die, and my keyboard battery would sometimes die, and I would sometimes die. And I would get home and I'd listen to it and I'd just be really dissatisfied with the tune, and I'd think like, gosh, this sucks. I hate this. But I still wanted to deliver a piece of art, I guess. And so I would go through and delete all of the wrong notes and even tweak some of the notes. When you record keyboard through MIDI, you can actually tweak the notes. And in one instance, I even went through and changed the solo. I know this is terrible. I'm admitting this now, but yeah, that just defeats the entire purpose of a solo. Several years ago, I made this here. So this was one of my first major piano albums. Yeah, this was a really exciting project for me. So the story of this is that Dunedin City has the longest grand piano in the world. And that's a video I'm gonna make at some point. But I was really excited to record a solo piano album on this piano. And so I spent a whole year composing these tunes and practicing these tunes. It was an epic fail. I sat at the piano, and when I went to record the songs, I just couldn't get a take of the song I was happy with. And it got to 10 takes, 20 takes, upward of 30 takes until I finally was like, okay, I'm just gonna go with that one. And that's why I'm really disappointed in this work of art, because I lost the essence of the tunes after several takes, and then it just got really monotonous and dull, and it just didn't have that verve, that excitement and energy that I wanted these tunes to have. And so ultimately, this work of art was an epic fail. So much for the quest. It's called Quest. So yeah, I've really struggled with perfectionism on my artistic journey, I guess. Until 3 weeks ago, I did something that I've never done before. I recorded an improvised jam of me playing on the keys, and I just uploaded it. And instinctively, I actually almost went through and edited some of the notes, but that would defeat the entire purpose of an improvised jam, right? So I just shared it and I let it be. And then the next day, a new musical idea emerged, and I took that idea and I guided it along, and suddenly I grabbed my camera and I recorded that too. And then I shared that. And then the same thing happened the following day. And so in 3 consecutive days, I produced 3 new pieces of music. And that's never happened before. That is so rare for me. And I wondered what happened. I actually arrived at this revelation where I was like, I suck. I'm not very good at a lot of the stuff that I'm trying to do. I'm not very good at producing music. I'm not very good at video editing. I'm an amateur in so many regards. I've got a lot to learn. What I realized is that in all of my perfectionism of the past few years, I think it's always been to try and hide the fact that I am an amateur. I think back to 2 particular videos on my channel. One that I made in 2020, which was about how I became a reader, and one I made last year, which was about how I'm writing my first book. Both of these videos, I really put a stupid amount of effort into. I think each one took me 2 months, and I just wanted everything to be perfect. I wanted the camera angles to be perfect. I wanted the scenes to be perfect. I composed the music for them and produced the music. I spent a lot of time on that. It was all to make this perfect video. When I think back to them, there were times when it just wasn't fun. It was kind of monotonous, just kind of going here and there, and laborious. That's the word I was thinking. Laborious? Monotonous? Yeah. either one works, I guess. And it's because I was focused on creating this perfect piece of art, and I wasn't so much focused on the actual process of making that art, you know? But what's happened in the past few weeks is I've just accepted the fact that I'm an amateur, and I'm embracing that, and I'm just making music, I'm making videos, and I'm just sharing them. And I don't really care about how my new work is being received, and I don't really care about the final product. What I'm really focused on at the moment is just the process of making new art, making new music, making new videos. I'm just having a lot more fun.
What is this? Like, I'm the first one to experience this thing. That's the craziest thing about it, like...
So I killed my perfectionism, and in doing so, I unlocked my creative potential, and I've gone back to this really fun, spontaneous, creative process, and I think that's what I've always wanted to achieve as an artist. And so I have produced more music and made more videos in the past 3 weeks than I did in the past 2 years. I've just embraced the cringe and embraced the fact that I'm an amateur, and I'm just like working on making more music and more videos, and in doing so I'm able to really focus on developing the key skill areas that are important for my craft: composing music, producing that music, and editing videos to present that music. So these are the 3 key skill areas. And you know, those last 2, producing music, editing videos, I'm not very good at that. You know, I can compose music, but it's a whole process, you know. In the past few weeks, I'm really working on that process and developing those key skills. I've improved more in these key skills in the past few weeks than in the past few years, and that's what I care about. What really matters to me is that I am showing up consistently every week and developing my skills. And so long as every video and every piece of music is better than the last, then I'm succeeding as an artist, because I'm improving my skills. I'm taking more of a long-term approach. Before, I was really just hyper-focused on the individual works of art, but now I've just accepted that I'm still an amateur and I'm still learning the craft. So I think at this point, for me, it's really about just developing my skills so that later down the road, you know, like half a year from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, what art can I make then? I'm really excited to see where this is gonna go. So that's kind of my buzz at the moment. Now, I've been approaching this matter from a purely anecdotal, you know, I'm sharing my own experience. But if you're an artist and you really struggle with perfectionism, then this is what I'll leave you with. The first one is to realize that you're only going to improve your skills and your craft when you actually make more art and you fail. I think failing is such an important part of the process. I've been failing miserably over the past few years, over the past few weeks. I mean, there's been so many epic fails in just the past few weeks. You know, this one video I made when I made a beat with my washing machine, the production was terrible. I listened to it in the car and the low end frequencies were just drowning everything out, and I was just like, gosh, this sounds terrible. I've got so much work to do in terms of music production. So yeah, there's been a lot of epic fails. I'm still failing. That's what I'm kind of trying to achieve nowadays, is just to fail more so that I can learn from those failures and see how I can do better in the next video and in the next tune. So that's kind of my buzz at the moment. And the second thing was, it's like a gun. My second thing is to, what have I got written here? Focus on tuning into your own organic creative process, and you know, taking an idea, a creative idea, and kind of taking it along to its apex and then publishing that and then moving on. This new approach that I've taken is keeping me reinvigorated. I'm no longer hyper focused on one piece of work and, you know, letting it stagnate. Instead, I'm just like moving on to the next thing and trying to develop my skills. That's the whole approach that I'm taking nowadays, is focusing on developing my skill set instead of trying to make every piece of art perfect. Because ultimately, we aren't perfect. You know, we're human beings and we are not perfect. So how can we expect to make perfect art? It's not possible. All we can do is just make the best art that we can and then have fun with the process. That's what happened when I killed my perfectionism. I've kind of unlocked and unleashed my creative potential. I'm just having a lot more fun with the creative process. That's what I want to share with this, I guess. Thanks a lot for watching. This is a video about perfectionism, and literally this is like the 5th time that I've sat down here to record it, and I realized that I was just like defeating the whole purpose of my message. So this time I just sat here and just talked about it and tried not to judge that. It's hard. I still suffer with perfectionism, but I'm getting better nowadays. I think my new approach is better and it's a lot more fun. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you got some value from this. Once again, the journey has only just begun, and I'll see you in the next video.